Three countries, one trophy, a story nobody expected. In 2026, for the first time in football history, a World Cup will not belong to one nation but to three. The United States, Mexico, and Canada will share the greatest tournament on Earth. But how did three rivals, three neighbors, and three completely different football cultures end up saying yes to the same dream? The answer involves broken bids, political tension, billion-dollar stadiums, and a decision that changed football forever. Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in modern football, the story of how the 2026 FIFA World Cup became a shared celebration across North America. This isn't just about stadiums or ticket sales. It's about diplomacy, ambition, and a football continent finally getting its long-awaited moment on the biggest stage. If you've ever wondered why three countries agreed to host together instead of competing separately, stay with us, because the real story is far more interesting than you might think. Let's rewind to 2017. FIFA had just gone through one of the darkest periods in its history, with corruption scandals, resignations, and a broken bidding process that damaged public trust. FIFA needed something bold, something transparent, and something capable of restoring faith in the sport's biggest event. Around the same time, football federations in the United States, Mexico, and Canada were quietly exploring an idea that seemed almost impossible: joining forces instead of competing against one another. The United States had bid alone before and lost to Qatar in a controversial vote back in 2010. Mexico, meanwhile, had already hosted the World Cup twice, in 1970 and 1986, and wanted to help bring football's biggest tournament back to North American soil. Canada, an emerging football nation with growing infrastructure and passionate supporters, saw this as the perfect opportunity to finally step onto the world stage. Instead of fighting each other for votes, the three nations decided to combine their strengths. This wasn't just diplomacy, it was smart strategy. A joint bid meant more stadiums, greater revenue potential, higher fan capacity, and a stronger proposal for FIFA's newly expanded 48-team tournament. In April 2017, officials from all three countries stood together and announced the United 2026 bid, a name that immediately symbolized unity over rivalry. FIFA's voting members were impressed. The proposal promised the largest World Cup in history, spread across an entire continent. In June 2018, during the FIFA Congress in Moscow, the United bid defeated Morocco's solo bid by a decisive margin. For the first time ever, three nations would share hosting duties for the world's biggest football tournament. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. The distribution of matches wasn't equal. The United States, with its enormous stadiums and advanced infrastructure, would host most of the matches, including the final. Mexico would host several games, continuing its historic relationship with the World Cup. Canada would host its very first World Cup matches ever, marking a historic milestone for Canadian football. Here's something many fans don't know. Mexico's Estadio Azteca will become the first stadium in history to host World Cup matches across three different tournaments: 1970, 1986, and now 2026. That's a record that may never be broken. Another fascinating fact is that this tournament will feature 48 teams instead of the traditional 32, creating more opportunities for new nations, unforgettable stories, and underdog moments. And here's another surprising detail. Despite political tensions between these three countries over the years, football became the common ground where cooperation was not only possible but historic. This tournament represents something much bigger than football. It proves that even nations with political disagreements can unite around a shared passion. For North American football fans, this World Cup is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness history unfold close to home. For Canada, it's a chance to accelerate the growth of the sport. And for the entire football world, it's a powerful reminder that the game continues to expand, evolve, and bring people together across borders. So the next time someone asks why the United States, Mexico, and Canada are hosting the World Cup together, you'll know the real story. It wasn't just about stadiums or logistics. It was about strategy, history, and three nations choosing unity over competition. This tournament will be remembered not only for the football, but also for how it came to exist. If you enjoyed this deep dive into World Cup history, make sure to subscribe because we're breaking down everything you need to know before the 2026 tournament kicks off. Drop a comment below and tell us which country's stadium you're most excited to see.